Hey guys, today we're going to go over the Apps SDK metadata, what it means and where it's located. The metadata is really important because the metadata is what helps ChatGPT understand what your app does and call it when necessary. So if you find your way over to developers.openai.com/appsSDK, you get to the general framework page for the Apps SDK, and you can go down here to Guides, Optimize Metadata. And what we'll be looking at today are these metadatas here: name, description, parameter docs, read-only hints, and then also for tools that are not read-only, where that would be located. Here we have a project called the Riddle Game. This entire code base will be on GitHub, and it will be available for you to go in and copy so that you can play around with it and start with a project that's already working on ChatGPT. Let's go through the metadata here. Most of the metadata is located here in this server.ts file. It's quite a long file here with around 1,600 lines, right? So it's quite confusing. We'll go through and today find the metadata. So the first item in the metadata is the name. The name of the widget is located approximately around here in line 248. What you can see here is the ID, the title, and invoking phrases. This is obviously important because the title of the widget helps ChatGPT understand what your widget is. In this case, we named it the Riddler Game. Test your knowledge of riddles. Okay. So the next is description. The description is here in line 197 in this project. What you're looking for here is the OpenAI/widget description. This is where you're going to get the full description, which in this case is a fun and challenging riddle game. Call this tool immediately, etc., etc. We'll get into the details of what this is later on. But you're also going to see here the keywords. Now, these are really important because the keywords will help ChatGPT understand, again, when to show this tool to other people. In this case, for our project, we have riddle, game, brain teaser, puzzle, quiz, logic, trivia, and fun. Okay, so you can add more or you can remove if you don't need them. Next, we have here in the metadata sample conversations. So these are important because, again, they guide ChatGPT on in what kind of conversations does your widget get called. So here we just have a couple of sample conversations. I want to play a Spanish riddle because we have Spanish and English in this project. Give me a hard logic puzzle, or can I solve some math riddles? All right, and then assistant is basically the response of ChatGPT to this particular phrasing. So the phrase is just this part, and the assistant part comes after, and we'll discuss that in another video. You don't need to know how to code this. Again, we have all of the prompts ready for you to just prompt this instead of writing it all manually. Next, we have the starter prompts. All right, so these are the prompts that will automatically or should automatically call your widget when someone types it and has your tool already selected on the dashboard. Brain teasers, riddles, give me a riddle, play the riddle. We suggest somewhere between 5 and 7 starter prompts. So the next one are the parameter documents. And so that's located on 270 in this project. So what you're looking for here, it's all pretty complicated, but again, you don't need to know how to code this. This is simply for your understanding of where the metadata is located. We have all the prompts ready for this. Then you have the read-only hint. The read-only hint is on line 324. Now, basically what this is saying is, so ChatGPT wants to protect the users, right? And they want to know, is your app read-only? Can it peruse things like the internet? Can it connect to other servers? Can it connect to other programs? And can it delete things off of their computer? So if that is the case, and for example, your app can delete things off of their computer, ChatGPT wants to know that because they want to surface that to their users and get permission before they use the app. So the easiest thing to start with here are these following annotations. Destructive hint is false. So you're basically telling ChatGPT, no, we don't delete anything. Open world hint is false. Again, this means that we don't go out and touch any other systems. It's just this app in itself. And then read-only hint is true. So we're not going to write anything on behalf of the user to their computer. This is a read-only app, which means that they can read, but we cannot touch or delete or modify anything on their computer. And that's really important. So those are the metadatas here on this server.ts. The last metadata that you want to look for is in the HTML file. So the HTML file is located under assets here. We'll do the riddler.html. And all of the metadata is here. This is very similar to like a website metadata where you can go in and modify the name, you can modify the keywords, the content. All of this can be done via prompt as well, but it's good at least to know where the metadata is located because sometimes you want to review what the AI has written. Now, I let the AI take a first pass at all of this metadata and then I go through it myself because 70% of the times it's really good, but 30% of the times it really doesn't make sense and needs some human input.